Daredevil versus Nightwing. Two of the most skilled fighters on Earth, two of the best acrobats that you'll ever see. This is really one of the closest Marvel versus DC fights out there. But who's going to ultimately come out on top? Who's really going to win? Let's get into it. Born in Hell's Kitchen in New York, Matt Murdock was blinded by a radioactive toxin while trying to save another man's life. But while he lost the sense of sight, all his other senses were heightened to a superhuman degree, giving him his signature radar sense. From there, Matt grew up and dedicated his life to protecting the innocent, becoming a lawyer by day and the famous street-level vigilante Daredevil by night. And Daredevil definitely is superhumanly strong. I mean, sure, he's still technically just a human, but right off the bat, Matt is regularly shattering metal, breaking it apart with his bare hands. This is light work for Matt Murdock. He's also regularly breaking apart bricks and concrete with his attacks, and he's really no stranger to just lifting heavy things either. Daredevil has been able to flip over a stretched limo with just brute strength. Or what about the time when he picked up a 400-pound barbell, started just swinging it around like a bow staff? That's seriously impressive. And I really think Daredevil's strength is best summarized with just the fact he's been able to beat down Kingpin. Kingpin is the same guy who's been able to overpower the likes of Spider-Man and Captain America, and Daredevil can beat him. Matt is stupid strong. He's also crazy tough. I mean, Daredevil is the son of battling Jack Murdock. He's known how to take a punch since he was just a kid and get back up swinging. I mean, forget just taking beatings from regular criminals or some semi-powerful characters. Daredevil has straight up taken hits from the Hulk before. That's like the upper limits of his toughness right there. He's regularly been able to survive explosions, being burned alive, being hit with serious bolts of electricity, and most of the time, Daredevil doesn't just take the attack and still remain standing, but he keeps on fighting, and oftentimes still wins the fight. The man is just insistent on never going down and never stopping. And while he is weak to sonic attacks and a powerful enough sound wave can knock him out, it's not an instant KO. In fact, oftentimes Daredevil has proven that he can fight through it and take out the bad guy, even if he's in extreme pain or if his radar sense is knocked out. But where Daredevil really thrives is with speed and agility. In fact, if it wasn't for Spider-Man, I would argue that Daredevil is the most agile character in Marvel. He's also one of the fastest street-level heroes too. His agility is just absolutely off the charts. He's even had better reactions than Spider-Man and Captain America from time to time. And bullet dodging is just absolutely easy for him. He can dodge point-blank bullets. He does this regularly too. Just make it look easy. And he's not just able to dodge bullets after they've already been fired, but the man is regularly deflecting bullets too, just swatting them back with his baton. And he's done it so many times that you can kinda say he's the best at it. But here's the thing, Daredevil is also one of the best and most skilled fighters in Marvel too. Like, he's fought against some of the most skilled martial artists in Marvel. Bullseye, Elektra, Karnak, and he's beaten all of them. He's also regularly been tested by the Hand, other gangs of assassins. In fact, there's the infamous feat of Matt Murdock, not Daredevil, beating 100 armed Yakuza members, half of whom are hopped up on MGH and strong enough to punch through a human. Matt won that fight in 3 minutes. And I don't think anyone is better at nerve strikes and pressure points than Daredevil. Matt is one of the few fighters who consistently uses nerve strikes in pretty much every fight, and some of them are seriously painful and dangerous. They're able to completely bypass durability and leave some pretty powerful and tough opponents just lying crippled on the floor. Then last but not least, Well, Daredevil has his superhuman radar senses. And with that radar sense, well, Matt pretty much becomes dang near omniscient to a certain degree. He can sense everything going on around him. He can smell your blood pressure rising, hear the faintest heartbeat, and it actually allows him to sort of predict the future a bit. Because of his senses, Daredevil regularly is able to react to something before it actually happens, all because he can sense it was going to happen before it ever did. Dick Grayson is a superhero in the Bat family who was the original Robin after being adopted by Bruce Wayne. Eventually, though, he outgrew his position and was inspired by Superman to become Nightwing, with Jason Todd and Tim Drake succeeding him as Robins. Dick has also taken up the Batman mantle itself for a while, with Damian serving as his Robin before returning to his position as Nightwing, and he's led the Teen Titans and even the Justice League before. Due to his intense training with Batman, Nightwing is at the pinnacle of physical conditioning and is almost on par with Batman himself. He's able to easily pick up and carry people with just one arm. He can swing around a refrigerator. Even just some of his workouts are well within the half-ton range. Probably most impressively, Dick was able to prevent an orca from chomping down on him, which is a bite force of 19,000 psi. He can push over a gigantic multi-ton penny or hold up a gigantic multi-ton stone boulder. So he might not technically be superhuman, but his strength feats are well within super soldier range. And man, is all that able to translate over into a fight. He possesses enough strength to fight against a holographic copy of Bane and actually break Bane's own back. He's actually managed to knock out Batgirl with just one punch. He's been able to hurt superhumans like Blockbuster and Gorilla Grodd. And one time, Dick even shattered a man's titanium legs, one of the strongest metals on Earth. Of course, Nightwing is also equally just as tough. He can take multiple punches from some pretty powerful superhumans and not go down. He can survive point-blank explosions multiple times over, and while Dick is usually more than fast enough to dodge bullets, it also helps that his suit is pretty much completely bulletproof. In fact, Nightwing's suit is so durable and so advanced that he said Kevlar looks outdated compared to it. And it's not just physical durability either. Nightwing has some of the best mental toughness and willpower that you've ever seen. Like, he can go days without sleep, ignore fear toxin, and break through mental torture. He's gone for over a week in the desert without food or water. Dick has even been stabbed in the gut or shot in the head and still kept on going. But where Nightwing shines the most has to be speed and agility. I mean, the guy was headlining his own acrobatic show when he was just a kid. You know this was gonna be his specialty. And he's also officially known as the best acrobat in the DC universe. So yeah, he's really good. He's regularly been able to dodge bullets, even whole crowds of gunfire. And it's gotten to the point where Dick is basically able to just laugh and disregard guns. And it doesn't have to be just from a distance either. Nightwing has dodged point-blank bullets before, even with the gun pressed up against his head. He's just that fast. Speaking of fast, Nightwing is faster and more fluid in his movements than even Batman. He's also faster than Catwoman and Cassandra Cain. And it's not even unreasonable for Dick to react to super speedsters. Like, he's dodged attacks from Jesse Quick. He's even caught Wally freaking West before. I mean, talk about speed. But it's never about just physicality when it comes to the Bat family. And Nightwing is no exception. Skill and gear is equally just as important. Batman trained at Nightwing in every single form of martial arts, and every joint and nerve strike known to man. And Dick quickly mastered all of it, till it was said that he was only just behind Bruce when it came to skill and ability. He's fought against and beat Red Hood. He's absolutely schooled Damian. He's been able to fight against Deathstroke multiple times, even held his own against Lady Shiva, and actually beat Batman. Although you could say that Batman was holding back in that fight and was more testing Dick. Nightwing also carries a wide assortment of gear into battle, with his primary weapons being his Screama sticks. These can be electrified, release some pretty serious electrical attacks actually, and holy crap is Nightwing good at throwing these things around. Like he can ricochet them all over the place, no problem at all. He can throw his little wingdings like crazy too, is ridiculously accurate with them. Nightwing is always carrying explosives or sonic disruptors or basically anything else you can think of. End of the day, Nightwing might go down as Batman's greatest success and maybe one of the best heroes on Earth. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, both of these heroes are incredibly close in pretty much every way. Just one of the many reasons why this is such a great fight. And when it comes to strength, while both of these guys are lean and mean and built more for speed and acrobatics, they really are both incredibly strong. They're both constantly pushing their bodies to the extreme upper limits. But I gotta say that Matt is just slightly stronger. Sure, both of them are constantly throwing around extremely heavy objects, wrestling with physical powerhouses, and one-shotting superhumans. But Daredevil is doing stuff like using a 400-pound barbell like a bow staff, or even taking a 400-pound engine block, putting it inside a tire, pulling it back like a slingshot, then letting it fly. Stuff like that has to give him the slight edge. Same with durability. Both of them are able to survive things that should kill a normal human several times over. And not just that, but have the resilience and willpower to take an absurd amount of punishment. But you still gotta give the slight edge to Daredevil. He's physically tougher than Nightwing and has taken some worse punishment in his life and just refused to quit. Of course, Nightwing's greater armor makes us a bit closer than strength, but you still gotta give the slight edge to Daredevil. Then finally, speed. And both are basically the best acrobats in their respective worlds, and both are able to dodge bullets like it's nothing. Yeah, gunfire has just become a joke to both of these guys. But while Nightwing is regularly dodging bullets, Daredevil is regularly blocking and deflecting bullets, even swatting them right back at the shooter. This is just undeniably better than what Nightwing is regularly doing. Both are stupid fast, and both can even react to super speedsters. But again, just have to give Daredevil the slight edge. Daredevil is physically better than Nightwing in all three of these categories. And while it's not the biggest difference in the world, it is enough to give him an edge in the fight. But in a fight like this, well, there's so much more at play than just being stronger or faster than your opponent. That's not near enough to get you to win. And when it comes to fighting skill and ability, well, this is where it gets to become really close. Both Dick and Matt have been trained since a young age to be the perfect fighting machines, to be expert ninjas, to be able to take down some of the toughest and most skilled opponents out there. And both of them have definitely demonstrated a lot of skill and are able to fight against some of the best fighters on the planet. Daredevil can fight against the likes of Captain America, Iron Fist, and Black Panther, while Nightwing can fight with Deathstroke, Cassandra Cain, even his mentor Batman. Just the fact that both of these heroes can compete with those fighters has got to demonstrate just how talented and skilled both Matt and Dick truly are. Now, the one edge that Daredevil does have is nerve strikes and pressure points. Both of them are extremely skilled with them, but Daredevil uses them a whole lot more often throughout a fight, so at some point it's entirely possible that Daredevil hits Nightwing with a strike that leaves him completely blind, or feeling pain worse than being burned alive, or even lying unconscious on the ground with a simple neck pinch. But Nightwing has also shown that he's got more than enough skill and ability to work around this. He's still one of the top tier fighters in DC. So if anything, skill is just completely a draw here. Neither of them have a definitive edge in the fight. But the one area where Nightwing obviously does have an edge is with gadgets and weapons. Mostly because Daredevil basically fights with just his skill and ability. His really only weapon is his billy club, and Nightwing has his own Eskrima sticks to directly counter that. And from there, what we're talking about is wingdings, his electric bolas, sonic attacks, flashbangs, smoke grenades, pretty much everything that Batman carries in his utility belt. Nightwing is also more than skilled at using and carries into fights as well. But while Daredevil doesn't necessarily have a whole plethora of gear and gadgets, he does have his radar sense. And this is simultaneously one of Daredevil's greatest assets in the fight, and also his Achilles heel. Because with that radar sense, it completely negates Nightwing's stealth and any element of surprise. Because suddenly, Nightwing won't be able to sneak away into the shadows or use any kind of sneak attack. It just won't work. Daredevil has a consistent 360 view of his surroundings, and he'll just always have Dick in his sights, no matter what Nightwing tries to do. And it's not just that either. Daredevil's senses are so highly tuned that he'll know everything that's in Nightwing's arsenal, so Dick can't catch him off guard with that either. Like Matt will know which attacks are normal wingdings, which ones are explosive or shock or something like that, so he'll be able to react and dodge accordingly, completely taking away the surprise element that Nightwing usually has with those types of attacks. But it's also his Achilles heel, because obviously Daredevil is blind. He relies on that radar and those senses to fight, and he's fighting against one of the world's greatest detectives here. I mean, Nightwing has trained for years under Batman. It won't take him long to look at how Daredevil fights and figure out that he's blind. Now, it is kinda up in the air just how many people in comics know that Daredevil is blind. It's led to some pretty funny moments, but it's also not like Daredevil necessarily hides it. You just have to know what you're looking for, and if Sabretooth is able to figure out that Daredevil is blind in their first fight, well then obviously Nightwing can too. Dick is just that smart and observant. He is part of the Bat family after all. But even if Nightwing is able to figure out that Daredevil is blind, starts launching out sonic and flashbangs and everything, it's not a guarantee that it'll let Dick win the fight. It will definitely help Nightwing, and this fight is still very close. But Daredevil has just proven way too many times that simply messing with his radar sense isn't enough to beat him. I mean, he's beaten Claw multiple times, a supervillain whose only power is launching out sonic attacks. He's got sonic dampeners built into his mask specifically to help him counter sonic attacks. And even when he is hit with attacks that throw off his radar and his senses, he's still proven that he's a master class fighter. Captain America hit him with a sonic attack that completely knocked out his radar sense. Daredevil was still able to fight the super soldier to a draw. Or there's Karnak, who knew about Daredevil's super senses, so he was purposely slowing his heart rate and holding his breathing during their fight. Matt was still able to beat the best hand-to-hand fighter that the Inhumans had. In some fights, the slight edge that these sonic attacks and flashbangs give is enough to beat Daredevil. Like it's one of the reasons why Batman should be able to beat Daredevil. But Batman was already a better fighter than Daredevil, was already also stronger and tougher as well. Nightwing doesn't have these same advantages going for him. Really, the only area that Nightwing is undeniably better than Daredevil is with those weapons and gadgets. And if Matt is able to overcome them as easily as he's been doing in the recent years, well then that's not as much of an advantage as you'd think they'd be in the fight. It's a ridiculously close fight, but with Daredevil being stronger, faster, and tougher, being an equally skilled fighter, and just the most resilient and toughest SOB you've ever seen, I've got to give him the ultimate victory. Daredevil wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.